Welcome to Do the Math America. I am Charlene, the Math Shaman. Percents and fractions are discussed on pages 89 and 90 of the beginning algebra book. Please look in the description box below this video for a link to the PDF file, which you may use to print out a hard copy for yourself. To change a fraction to a percent, we first change it to a decimal and then to a percent. So the fraction 1/2 is also a division problem, 1 divided by 2, which equals 0.5 or 5/10. Now we have converted 1/2 to a decimal, 5/10, and we change the decimal 5/10 to a percent by bringing the decimal point 2 places to the right. So I use my reference 1 equals 100% to jog my memory that the decimal point in converting a decimal to a percent needs to be moved 2 places to the right. Now I go back to my decimal 0.5 and move that decimal point 2 places to the right and add a percentage sign to make this 50%. The fraction 3/4 we convert to a decimal by doing the calculation 3 divided by 4, which equals 0.75. Now we take that decimal, 0.75 or 75 hundredths, and bring the decimal point 2 places to the right and add the percentage sign to give us 75%. The fraction 3/4 equals 75%. The fraction 1/5 converts to a decimal when we do the calculation 1 divided by 5, which equals 0.2 or 2/10. Now we take that decimal point, move it 2 places to the right, add a percentage sign to give us 20%. To convert the fraction 2/5 into a percent, we first make it into a decimal by doing the calculation 2 divided by 5, which equals 0.4 or 4/10. Now we take that decimal point and move it 2 places to the right and add a percentage sign, giving us 40%. So 2/5 equals 40%. Now we look at the fraction 3/8. We first convert that to a decimal by doing the calculation 3 divided by 8, which equals 0.375. If you need a refresher on how to divide decimals, please watch my earlier video, Lesson 18, Dividing Decimals. Now we take the decimal, 0.375 or 375 thousandths, and move that decimal point 2 places to the right. So we have 37.5 and add the percent sign, 37.5%. Next, the fraction 5/8. Convert that to a decimal by taking 5, dividing it by 8, and we get 0.625 or 625 thousandths. So we write that out as a decimal, 0.625, and take the decimal point, move it 2 places to the right, which gives us 62 5/10, and add a percent sign. Take the fraction 1/3, convert it to a percent by dividing 1 divided by 3, which gives you 0.333 with a repeating 3. We write out the decimal, 0.333, with the repeat sign over the 3, and bring the decimal point 2 places to the right and add a percent sign. You can round to the nearest 3/10, so that this would be 33.3%, but that is an approximation. The squiggly equal sign means approximately equal to 33.3% to the nearest tenth of a percent, or you can make this a more precise calculation. When you do the division, 1 divided by 3, you work the problem out to the hundredths decimal place, and then you take the remainder, 1, making that a numerator for your new fraction, and the 3, the divisor, would be the denominator. So you have this mixed decimal fraction, 0.33 and 1/3. You then move the decimal point 2 places to the right, giving you 33 and 1/3%, which is a precise calculation. To change a percent to a fraction, we change it to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So 50% equals 50 over 100, which, when put into its simplest form by taking out common factors, equals 1/2. To review how to simplify fractions to their simplest form, please watch my earlier videos, lesson 22 to lesson 25. 20% converted to a fraction is 20 over 100, which can be simplified to the fraction 1/5. 40% becomes 40 over 100 and simplifies to the fraction 2/5. 125% becomes the fraction 125 over 100. And we factor out 125 to its prime factors, 5 times 5 times 5, and 100 factors into its prime factors, 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. And then we eliminate common factors between numerator and denominator to end up with the fraction 5/4, which converted to simplest terms is the mixed number 1 and 1/4. 12.5% becomes the fraction 12.5 over 100. So we move that decimal point 1 place to the right, and we do the same in the denominator to give us a fraction of 125 over 1000. And then we prime factorize the numerator 125 to give us 5 times 5 times 5. And we do the same to the denominator 1000, which gives us the factors of 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. And we line up the numerator factors and the denominator factors accordingly and eliminate the like factors, leaving us with the numerator of 1 and the denominator 2 times 2 times 2, or 1/8. 1/2% converts to the fraction 1 over 2 times 100, or 1 over 200, or 1/200. To change 2 and 1/2% into a fraction, we first change 2 and 1/2 into a improper fraction of 5/2. So it becomes 5/2%, which equals 5 over 2 times 100, or 5/200, which simplifies to the fraction 1/40. To take 33 and 1/3% into a fraction, we convert the mixed number into an improper fraction of 100/3%, which equals the fraction 100 over 3 times 100, or 100 over 300, which simplifies to the fraction 1/3. 62.5% becomes the fraction 62.5 over 100. And as before, we move that decimal point over to the right 1 place, and we do the same in the denominator, giving us the fraction 625 1/1000. Using the shortcut division method, we find that 625 factors out to 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and the denominator 1000 factors out to 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. Lining up the prime factors in the numerator and those in the denominator so that we can eliminate common factors. Now we can write out the fraction in its simplest terms, which is 5/8. Find 5 1/3% of 33. So we set that up as a calculation, 5 1/3% times 33, because the word of means times. Now we convert the mixed number, 5 1/3, into an improper fraction, multiplying the denominator 3 by the whole number 5 and adding the numerator 1 to equal 16/3. So now we have 16/3% times 33. And we simplify on the next line, 16/3% to be 16 over 3 times 100, leaving off the percent sign. And we continue with the problem times 33. And we see that 3 goes into 33 11 times. So we can simplify those terms, which leaves us with 16 over 100 times 11. Now we do 16 times 11 on the side. The simple math trick for multiplying multiple digit numbers by 11 is to offset the numbers by one place and then add from right to left. So 16 times 11 equals 176. We go back to our problem, and now we have 176 over 100. Since we are dividing by 100, we move that decimal point behind the 6 2 places to the left, leaving us with 1.76. So 5 1/3% of 33 is 1.76. And we box our answer. What percent is 12 of 30? I will rewrite that question as what percent is 12 out of 30? So 12 out of 30 can be rewritten as 12 over 30 or 12/30ths. To convert a fraction to a percent, we first convert the fraction into a decimal by doing the calculation 12 divided by 30, which gives us 0.4 or 4/10. So we rewrite that as 0.40, and then we move that decimal place. And I like to use my reference 1.0 equals 100% to remind myself that to convert a decimal into a percent, I need to move that decimal point 2 places to the right. Now I go back to my problem, 0.40, and move that decimal point 2 places to the right and add a percent sign to get 40%. So 12 is 40% of 30. In order to get good at math, you must do the math, and page 90 has lots of problems for you to work on and develop your skills. Please do as many problems as you need to get a firm grasp of this material. And please check your answers with those in the back of the book to make sure you did the problems correctly. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this channel with anyone you know who wants to learn math. Thank you for joining me at Do the Math America.